We called the benevolent beings of light, archangels, and ascended masters to guide and inspire us during this forum. Our forum's vision is to bring the understanding, tools, discipline, and support for those seeking to enter the straight and narrow path, the road less traveled, that will lead us along effectively and steadily through the ascension process. Integration of the human experience with our divine origin is moving us full circle to achieve our divine potential. So be it. Amen.
The greatest gift you have to give is that of your own self-transformation. It's the truth. It's the greatest gift you can give, because when people see what you do to become the light, they'll want it too. Celestial heritage. To me, that was so fascinating and interesting, because if you really listened, you'd be, weren't you surprised to see how many different lineages that you could possibly say, I definitely have those traits. You've been around a very long time, and you have been on these planets and stars for many, 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 many eons of time. You have been traveling, and then you came here and spent a tremendous amount of the last, God knows how many ages, on Earth. Here on Earth, you brought who you were, completely unaware of where you've been and what you've learned. And you brought it here. And you helped with the development through all the different stages of life and eras on the planet. It was you and me. It was us that went through all of that to get to this point right now. We've learned what we needed to learn. We experienced what we needed to experience. Everything, we've got it all. We've developed that wisdom. And now our ascension is coming to the point where we're done with all of this. Moving out of this type of experience, the pain and the suffering. And for any of you that worry about going to hell, you're leaving it because you're not taking it with you, all the old stuff, the pain. When I worked at the hospice house that I helped develop, people didn't want to leave. They were too afraid. They thought they were going to hell. And when I explained to them about where they are now and where they're going, they were able to leave here. They were able to leave. And the promise that was made to them by God is that they could always be witnessing their family and influencing them from the other side, because they go up and they can lower their frequency. And then they can lift it again and move out. People have had experiences with those that passed and actually saw them. An aunt of ours had this experience, called me up hysterical, just completely freaking out. Her husband, who had passed 6 months before, she was praying, "Why did you leave me? I'm so sad and lonely." And she did this day and night and day and night. So one night he shows up in the room and she sees him and he says, "Oh, stop acting so surprised. You've been calling me for months." He said, "Move over." And he laid down next to her and they talked for the whole night. It was remarkable. She cried, she laughed. She didn't know what to do with it. She thought she lost it. And I assured her that it was him and that he did visit her and that it was very, very real. She became a believer and she started seeking spiritual wisdom from that day on. You never know when something like that is going to happen. So let's go on to the different star seeds. The ones that are really interconnected with us the most are the Pleiadians, as I mentioned earlier before we started. And they've been working with us and interacting with us for so, so long. They're very, very beautiful. I can pick them out as quick as I can pick out my own family members. Also the Venetians, those from Venus. Very, very specific look and mannerism. Very regal, very, very beautiful, statuesque people. Now, the category of the light workers, a lot of you may have said, well, I have a feeling that's me. Because we don't necessarily relate to individual experiences that were listed here, but we definitely know that we've been around the block and that we came here with a specific purpose. Definitely, we are light workers. The Lyrians, I just recently counseled someone and she asked where she was from. And I said, I don't know, it starts with an L. And she said, Lyrian? And I said, oh yeah, that's it. Yeah. So she's right on. And she knows where she spent a very long time. And she, if she's on tonight, she will be able to see and hear of the attributes of that culture so that she could see if it's really something that she relates to. The Andromedans, beautiful, beautiful souls, very, very devoted to spiritual adeptness, and they are ascended for sure. I don't know of any Andromedans that I've met that weren't ascended. Orions, yeah. I haven't really spoken personally to any Orions on a counseling level. They're more out there doing that for other people. So if I've met them, it wasn't in a professional interaction. I never heard of the Minihims. I've never heard of them, or Minikins. I don't know how to say it. Mintican. I've never heard of them. I'm not saying that I never came across one, but I've never heard of that star system. I know it's in the Orion's belt, though. And they have some beautiful attributes that they brought to humanity. Now, our kids were born, most of us, during the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And we had the indigo, crystal, and rainbow children. And others are still coming in that are very, very highly evolved. The Lemurians, I never thought of them as being on a star from another star system. They really brought our planet to a tremendous upgrade. And they were on the island of Lemuria. And those people, when that pathway was still present from Lemuria to the United States, they literally settled in the United States and is the various American Indian tribes. Very, very spiritual. Okay. So then we went on to the felines, and I heard Janice Cobb get all excited because she wasn't muted. And honestly say her and Carrie are definitely spending, they have spent eons of time as felines and brought that here. And a lot of people are very drawn to cats and other feline animals because they spent a lot of time there. Beautiful place to be. The draconians kind of have a bad name, and the reptilians. We always thought of the Martians as being warriors, and they do teach martial arts there. But my martial art background was actually from Saturn. And they've been interacting with our planet for more time than you can imagine. And we've been going back and forth with trade, ships and everything. There's bases on Mars. There's nothing new about that. Even our moon on the backside, there's a whole big settlement there that is for trade and bringing in and exchanging whatever they do. I don't know if it's I know we're the gold planet, but I don't know about what they bring. I've never been interacting as one of those pilots. The Polarians, they actually came in. I was there with them when we were in our light bodies, and we started colonizing on the planet before people had physical bodies. And it was quite the job to build a body. Well, once it was time, I believe it was the Atlanteans or the Mu group that had actually solidified into bodies like we have today. The Hadarians, don't know much about them. I'd never heard, but from this video that we watched, they're very beautiful, compassionate, pure beings. The Alpha Centaurians, I did spend a lot of time there. I'm very familiar with those beings. And I do have a lot of the tenacity that I was trained a while there. The Anunnaki, they are kind of a part of the Sumerian culture, and they're learning a lot about it from the tablets and things that were left behind from them being here. So what does all of this heritage mean to us? What does it mean to you? To me, it means that we've had a tremendous education. We know what it's like to be outside of the human earthly being. We know what it is to learn from beings that are ascended, actively interacting with them and ascending. We ascended from those. You become an ascended master when you master the teachings of each plane, you see, and you keep moving up until you've reached the point where you're Christed. You absolutely know everything you need to know about life and use of energy and how to manage that heart of yours and to love, not to be a doormat love, not to give up yourself to be love, but to become fully love, not just give it and receive it. Your entire being emanates love. You attract people to you like the Pied Piper because they want to be with you. The love that's radiating out of you is touching their fields. It's healing and filled with light. And people are attracted to those people who are reaching that level of love. To me, my heritage, I've never actually felt like any planet was where I came from. And I finally found out that where I came from originated from the first time. And that was the third sun behind the great central sun. There is several people here that also are from one of the suns behind the great central sun. And we started there and we'll end there when we choose to go back. I did go back. Jesus took me. It was a gift for all the hard work that I did. It was a celebration. It was stunningly wonderful. Everybody's skin is gold. Your eyes are gold. Your hair is gold. I looked pretty scary when I looked and saw my reflection in a crystal. But guess what? You will find your place. Each time we go on about the different cultures, lineages, planets, we're going to talk a lot about this because they are coming and they will be showing themselves. And we want to be completely peaceful, calm, and welcome them. We've all been exposed to the 1950 movies of the Martians coming and all the scary stuff that these space people are going to bring us. Woohoo! They weren't true. They weren't true. The truth is, listen, like I said to my husband, who's scared to death of one of them landing, I said, if they can get themselves light years from their planet to us, I think they're going to be pretty cool. So don't worry and don't be afraid. And please don't be afraid. Please don't be afraid. They're already here. You see, it's just that they took on human bodies, so you don't have a clue unless you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. And you'll recognize them because there's a way to see them that I'll teach you if you want to learn. And it will be quite enlightening when you do see them. Now, from your peripheral vision, every one of you, everyone, can see into another dimension. You can. Yep. And that's why every once in a while, you ever think you saw somebody or you saw a movement and you turn really quick, but nothing was there? Yeah, you saw it with your peripheral vision. Yep. And then the great gift of hearing, the voice from another dimension. That's a gift of gifts. Yep. To be able to do that. But do you know what the ultimate gift is? Channeling yourself, your higher self, the divine part of you, the Christ in you. That is the greatest gift of all. Some of us have planetary missions. Therefore, the masters use us. And there are people that the masters use, if you give permission to them to use you, for everyday purposes. You might be meeting with someone that they want a certain message given to them, and you'll go to say something, and all of a sudden you're saying something else. They're using you. You gave them permission because no one can interfere with you. It's only if you give permission. I give permission. I want to be used by the Great White Brotherhood, the magnificent masters and beings of light. Nobody else can use me. They're not allowed entry into my fields. Keep that in mind. All right? You don't want to just put it out there. Anyone can use me, because anyone will. So you choose the light and you make specific directions that I only will allow an ascended being, an angel, a being of light. And there I am, serving God. So this heritage of ours is extensive. Each one of you, such an individual with so much training in different areas and spending more time on certain planets than others because you loved where you were. You loved the people. You loved the culture. You loved what they did, what they knew, and you made it a part of you, a very strong part of you. Think of your character. You came in with a personality that you chose with your higher self that was going to serve you to do the best job you can, especially necessary for this lifetime, to take us to the doorway of 5D. This is where we're going. This is the gift we're giving ourselves. This is the place we've been working all this time and learning so much so that we can enter. This opportunity has not come around for us here on the planet. And let me tell you, this is graduate school. Back in the 80s, people said, oh, this is kindergarten. No, this is such an easy planet. Oh, really? And as we all got older, we looked at it a little differently. This matrix is making us into masters because we can't get away with anything that we put out there. It's going to come back to the person that sent it out so that we could feel what other people feel when we're in their presence, when we lose our temper, when we are sarcastic, when we think we're funny, but we're actually being mean, when we are passive aggressive. All of this comes back to us. It used to take so many years, you had no idea where this came from. And you feel, I'm so nice. Why is this happening to me? Well, we weren't always so nice. I wasn't. You are the totality of all the lives you have ever lived, because it's only been one life, a continuous, magnificent flow from different polarities of male, female, and everything in between. All different professions, all different ways of expressing ourselves so that we could be us in this lifetime, to take us into this 5D world and bring those great gifts that you have and talents into this 5D world that we are building ourselves. We are building it. Every time you overcome something that you know was a pattern that wasn't serving you anymore, you are helping lift this entire planet. Yeah. Because we're all connected to a great divine computer. We're all plugged into it. And anything that you accomplish or you do goes into that computer. And that's the mass consciousness people talk about. Now, the collective consciousness is the gathering of the good, everything positive and life affirming. And that's the part we want to play from this day forward. That's the part that's going to bring 5D fully in, and the door closes behind us. And whoever's left behind, it's fine. They need to be, and they chose to be where they're going to be. The wonder of this whole thing is people say, well, what about my children? What about my family? I said, for everything you do to lift yourself up, you're helping them. And they're pushing your buttons. Why? Because they're helping you get over yourself. My family didn't stop. Nobody stopped in my life. I needed 10 people poking my buttons at the same time to even get me to budge. I was so stubborn and so strong. We don't want to use our strength against ourselves. We want to use it for our highest good. And that's right what we talk about every week, right here, together, reminding ourselves this is the way. Jesus came to show the way. And this is what we talk about. This is what he taught us. He said it in code because we weren't ready to hear it back when we sat at his feet and listened. But now we are so ready, and we understand it. And I have the gift of simplifying the complicated. Did you ever go to a seminar and you hardly can even follow what you're being told? It's so complex. Well, you've got to go back. You've got to come back because I can tell you what's going to happen. You don't need anybody. You can use a cheerleader like me, but you're going to do the work and you're going to seek the kingdom of God. But guess where it is? Inside you. It's inside you. People search the world for the kingdom of God, but it's right inside you. Everything you need is right inside you. The Christ is inside you, guiding you. That's your potential. He didn't become Christ to show us a big God thing. He showed us a man who became a Christ. He came in fully ready. But there were many lifetimes he wasn't. And there were many lifetimes before this that he was fully Christed. He came to show us what a human being can do to get out of the dilemma of limitation that we put upon ourselves. Now, how did it happen? We started to believe what man was saying, that we weren't worthy, that we were so full of sin, there was no hope for you. All these negative thoughts, even at church, it used to make me angry to be called a sinner when I'm the one sitting in church. Yeah, it really troubled me. And when I tried to ask the priest why, he almost gave me a backhand. It's lucky somebody walked over, or I would have had my teeth knocked out probably. Yeah. So I'll tell you, we came here to go rising above everything and to believe whatever our gut told us and to pray for help so that our higher self can be heard and start interacting with us. Any of you that haven't made a relationship with your higher self, please, please, it's the best friend you ever had that loves you more than anybody outside you could ever love you. People look for love and completion outside themselves. Remember that movie with what's his face? And he said, she completes me, this person, a lady. Yeah. Well, no. You complete yourself. When the male, female in you, the two polarities come together and have a mystical marriage, there's no more need to be batting against male, female issues. It's just a matter of loving. Loving outside you, the male that's with you, or any male you meet. And also the female, any females you're with. No longer will you judge them. You know what you'll do? You'll see the similarities in you. I'll look at people, no matter what they're doing, whether it's something like, wow, or something like, whoa. I say to myself, yeah, I've been there. I know what that feels like. I know why they're yelling. I know why they're crying. Why? Because I've done it. I've been there. I know the pain. I know the struggle. And I know the glory of coming beyond it. It doesn't matter if it's physical for you, mental, emotional, if it's relationships. Any relationship outside you is just a reflection of what's going on inside you. Just remember that. Okay? It's as simple as that. It is so simple, and we've complicated it so much because we're always looking out there instead of looking in here. And in that quiet space in your heart, you will be surprised what you will feel. Even if you don't hear words, you will feel it. I want to stay on time. I see Robin's getting a little antsy watching her watch. Thank you so much, Robin. So anyone that's watching this on YouTube, we invite you to join us here at the forum. You're only getting segment 1 and my closing statement. But if you come on and to the website, ourdivineorigin.com, you can sign up. I have 5 people that they're going to be starting at different times that were watching our videos on YouTube, and they absolutely love what we talk about. They've been waiting for someone that speaks like this.
Nice.
And the videos, very, very good videos, honestly. So I will continue later. We're going to go into segment 2, and God bless you for listening. So that beautiful song, Surrender to Your Life. When we hold on and we try to control it, we want to stop the pain. We're trying not to experience more things that we have to deal with, right? Just let go and let it happen. See how you feel. Go through the emotions and let it go. You free yourself every time you do that. Don't try to control your life. It's already written perfectly. All we do is slow it down. We slow it down. We could be done. But we're so afraid that it's going to hurt. Let it hurt one more time and let it go. It doesn't matter what it is. It's the feeling that you want to deal with. Thank you so much. Surrender. Celestial heritage. It's a magical, wonderful, exciting topic to actually investigate. So watch the video again and really zero in on some of the attributes of these cultures, these lineages, and see what really sings to you, speaks to you. And maybe we'll learn more about them. You can also go back there, ask to visit, and I'm sure that places where you absolutely adored being, that you go there on the inner planes when you're sleeping physically. So it's not like you're not connecting with it. It's just bringing it back into our consciousness. Because remember, we had our memories erased. Although it's on the Akashic record, we're not all reading that record, even though you can, and you do subconsciously know it. You're not consciously knowing it. So the excitement of knowing that you've been around the block, you've been around the universe, God knows there's other universes we've been in, very different. And you've learned the rules and laws of these other cultures and lineages. It's all part of you. Yeah, it's all part of you. And they talk a lot. We've also seen about, we're going to see a video that's going to help you understand, to identify a little more with some of these other cultures. I really was interested in the video. I listened to it twice. I'll be playing that eventually. And all of our work is going to continue to flow in many directions so that we can prepare ourselves for what's coming. And the reason we do the guided meditation in the evening is to get us used to being in our spirit body rather than carrying around our physical body with us. We get used to being without it and realize we're still us. We're completely still us. Our etheric double, even though it's our battery, it's also our ghost. And when we're traveling, that's what we look like, exactly what we are, but it's in a light body. Okay? It's the closest thing that looks like your soul, which is it's all white like Casper the ghost. Yeah. We're very complex. We really are. And we're not just who our personality shows ourselves to be. We're so much more, so much more. And every once in a while, I would snap in. I'd be with somebody, like I think I told the story a couple of times. I was with an engineer that built bridges, and I knew he was an engineer. I didn't know what kind of engineer he was. My husband was a or aeronautic engineer, and I'm talking to this guy, and all of a sudden I start talking about bridges and all of this stuff about how the stress is, and they set it up so that it can hold the weight and all this stuff. And he just like backs up from me, and he goes, "Why didn't you tell me you were an engineer?" And I said, "I'm not." He goes, "You wouldn't have, come on," he said, "you wouldn't have known what you just said to me." And I said, I don't know where that came from. Okay, see ya." I walked away, and I went over to my husband. He goes, "You look like you saw a ghost." And I said, "Charlie, the weirdest thing just happened." And that was like, we're going back to the 80s, 1980s. And he looked at me and he goes, "Oh God, I'm not talking to that guy today." I have no idea what he's going to say. You never know when your past is going to come up and express through you. So don't be surprised if it starts happening. It is the coolest, weirdest, but coolest thing. And you go, I know I didn't know anything that I was talking about. But for some reason, being in his energy field, since that was something I was familiar with from another experience, another lifetime, another whatever, it just triggered that memory back into me. And before I left, he said I actually gave him a really good idea on the project he was working on. I don't know. But I have a feeling God was using me to speak through him, through me to help him with that project, because I would imagine it was something that needed to be done. So he got the answer. I haven't a clue what I said, but everybody was happy. So listen, don't judge yourself by any limitations. Don't allow limitations to rule you. You take charge of your life. You live it the way you dream it. You get rid of the things that are holding you back. Fear. Fear is the biggest one. I really want to just hold it at the fear. If you're afraid to break out of a pattern that you've been doing for a long time, get rid of the fear. It doesn't exist. It's a belief. It's really easy to get rid of. You just got to make up your mind. And then when fear ever comes back, you go, "No way, Jay, not today, not ever again." And you got to hold your ground. You got to hold your ground. There's a lot of things that are going to happen right soon now, and I don't want you buying into it. Okay?
Mhm.
You won't be touched. You'll witness it perhaps, but you won't be touched. All right? You're on a mission. And ask Barbara, when you're on a mission, nothing can hurt you. Bombs can go off around you, but it won't take you out. I'm telling you, it's true. Yep.
Right.
So don't be afraid of anything you're going to see. Don't buy into it. It has nothing to do with you. Okay? Everything has to just break down and go away that's been built. And so we don't need that experience. We're good. We got enough on our plate just dealing with ourselves, right? Don't be afraid of anything. Be fearless. And you know what? It changes your whole world. It really does. It's not like you're going to tempt God. You're not going to go out there and say, "Oh, I'm going to walk in front of that bus. Nothing can hurt me." Oh, really? You'll be chopped meat. So don't be silly. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you let your life unfold like in the song. Don't try to control it. And, a lot of times we go, "Oh man, I'm not sure, I don't know if I should do this." You know what? if you're feeling that you should do something and get it done, just go for it. Go for it. And just keep saying to your higher self, I trust you. I know that you're going to watch over me. I know that you're going to take me where I need to go. And if it's one of those days that it's a work day, don't feel like you went backwards. You didn't. You had an opportunity to go forwards permanently.
We are deeply grateful for this forum. We thank those in attendance for your attention and your wonderful questions, future topic suggestions, and stories that touched our hearts and opened our minds to new possibilities. Our collective energy has filled this forum with light and love for each other. We are so grateful that each of us brings guides and angelic beings to the forum, raising the frequency ever higher. We are grateful for the assistance, inspiration, and guidance from the benevolent beings overseeing the forum. Know we are all deeply loved and richly blessed. Amen.